Howdy! Today I'm going to show you how I made Oscar a doghouse using some 2x4s and cedar fence pickets because his current hangout spot definitely needs an upgrade. Like most projects, this one started at the miter saw station. First was cutting out all the frame pieces per the cut list I created. Also, be sure to always cut the ends of your factory boards off to ensure that they have a nice 90-degree edge starting point. Once those are cut, we are ready to start assembling the base with simple butt joints and 2 1/2 inch screws. I did end up using this awesome corner clamp to help make sure everything was lined up properly and at a 90-degree angle. It does have cutouts on the side, so you don't have to take it off in order to screw in both screws. Once all 4 corners were secure, I went ahead and measured for some cross supports. I did this after I had to put it all together because I wanted a nice snug fit for them. And I just installed them using a couple more 2 1/2 inch screws on both sides. Next up was to assemble frames that are going to be the sides or the walls of the doghouse. I assembled them the same way as the base, corner clamps and 2 1/2 inch screws. Oh, and I'd like to know that these are exterior rated screws. They have a coating on them to help prevent them from rusting and just overall last longer than regular screws. Now onto the trusses. The pieces were already cut to length, but now I need to cut the ends off at a 45-degree angle to give us our roof shape. Then to attach the 2 boards together, I'm going to be using some Simpson Strong Tie TP35 tie plates and some Simpson Strong Tie number 9 by 1 1/2 inch hex head screws. I placed the 2 boards in a corner clamped assembly square to keep everything in place, then centered the plate on the 2 boards and put in about 6 screws, 3 on each side of the board, then flipped it over and added a plate on the other side. Once I had all 3 trusses assembled, I set them aside and started ripping some of the cedar fence pickets that were going to go onto the base and become the platform or the floor. With them all laid out and in their space, I attached them using some galvanized staples. Lots of staples. Now that we have all of our frame pieces, let's put them together. First up is the sides or the walls. I lined them up with the edge of the platform and then secured them by using some 2 1/2 inch screws again into the base. Next up is the trusses. To attach these to the side walls, I used some more tie plates on the very front and the back, as well as some Simpson Strong Tie GA1 connectors on the other side of the trusses that weren't flat. They're basically 45-degree metal brackets. I love using Simpson Strong Tie hardware on my projects because they're easy to use, they're proven, and they're structurally sound. Once I'm done with Oscar's doghouse, it isn't going anywhere. Thank you, Simpson Strong Tie, for sponsoring this video. And the last part of the frame is to add some purlins or cross supports between the trusses. These add extra support and are going to give us something to attach the roof to coming up. These will need to be installed offset so that they can get screws into them from both sides. Well, now the frame's all assembled, it's time to get some help and move this into the backyard where we can start painting it. I decided to give it a Scandinavian vibe and paint the frame and the floor white using some exterior paint and my cordless airless sprayer. This is a super quick process and it dries super fast in the Arizona heat. But don't forget to spray the floor for that added protection underneath. Now it's time for a roof. I use cedar fence pickets for this. Each side's going to have a different length because they overlap at the top. I have complete build plans available on my website with dimensions, cut lists, material lists, and step-by-step instructions if you're interested in making one for yourself. To attach the roof boards, I use galvanized staples like I did on the floor, and I overhung the front and back boards about 3/4 of an inch and spaced the rest of the boards evenly. To make sure that the boards that weren't on a truss were at the same height as the other ones, I used a level, and that helped me line everything up, and I attached them the same way, but these ones only had staples going into the purlins and not into the trusses. And then repeat on the other side. You will notice that there are gaps between the roof boards. So to make this a little bit more watertight, I put 2-inch strips of cedar over them using the same staples, and I really like how once it's all done, it gives you a board and batten look. Did you notice Oscar there checking up on me, making sure I'm doing a good job on his doghouse? All right, now it's time for the sides. And well, since we live in AZ, it gets really hot here, so I didn't want the side walls to be solid. That would be like an oven for Oscar. So I decided to put slats on the walls. So off to the table saw I went and ripped a ton of 1.5-inch strips of cedar. Then installing them was super simple. I installed the front and the back slat, and then I measured and installed the middle one, and then basically eyeballed the rest of them. You repeat that on the other 2 sides, and we have a doghouse. Not sure it's going to get much use, only time will tell, but I'm super happy with how it came out. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did, and if you did, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more awesome DIY projects. And remember, build loud, build wild, or just go for that project you've always wanted to do. And have an awesome day.